Our thanks to our friends at AgriLiquid, St. John's, Michigan, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a profitable New Year, and they want to be part of it here. We talked to them several times of the year, different events, and they always mention how much they appreciate the partnership with RFD TV and Rural Radio. They want to partner with you and not just move product, but help you, again, with the bottom line in 2018. Again, great friends at AgriLiquid. And a great friend in Todd Horwitz at the edge of that trading floor in Chicago. He has all of his Christmas shopping done, and he's just waiting for the clock to hit December 25th. Happy Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and Happy New Year to you ahead of time.
Merry Christmas to you, Mark. It's great to talk to you. And, of course, I did all my shopping at AgriLiquid just to make sure we could help them out.
You got a whole garage full of AgriLiquid for the next year. I love it. All right, grain trade, obviously we talk a lot about, but it's a pretty low volume. What's a trader like you do? How do you function in a market like this? You know it's coming, and every year, just kind of have to even the books. Is that what you do?
Well, actually, what I'm really doing, Mark, honestly, is I'm buying. I mean, I buy when corn and wheat get to these low levels. I kind of buy them like I'm buying a stock for my IRA. I just buy them and put them away and watch them because, again, I think that we're at ridiculously low levels. I think that everything points to higher prices. Now, again, it's been a little bit painful at certain times, right? We've drifted down, but we're not really getting that big push down. It's just like the one penny at a time kind of beats you up, whoosh. But I'm looking to be a buyer. I mean, I'm going to continue to buy here and continue to build the position because I believe that we're going to see much higher prices coming to the new year. I think you're going to see that when the equity markets, which will have a correction at some point, that's number one. That will help the grain markets because that's a great alternative which people run to. And now we're seeing tremendous values, and there's really no place else to go. So you have to start to look for value, and I don't think there's any better value than corn and wheat right here.
Well, let's take a look at corn, and you mentioned that down near the to touch the contract low from last Friday overnight and still this morning here. So you like corn, even may go lower, but you like it longer term, obviously.
Oh, no, and I'm telling all my guys, if you can afford to store it, just store it. Now, again, obviously you have to weigh the cost. If you have to pay to store it, then you've got to weigh the cost. But if you don't have to pay for it, it's like in my eyes, it's like putting money in a bank account and just waiting to withdraw it later. And that's really what I look at here. I cannot imagine, these prices, if you take out the ethanol value, these are prices we saw in 1990. And I'm saying, well, where's the inflation that we're supposed to be having here because of all the things that are going on? And of course, we don't see that. But I do believe that there's going to be a big demand, and I think there'll be some new money flowing to these markets, and I've been a little bit wrong. I bought a little higher, and I'm going to continue to buy because I see a tremendous value here, and I see a great value play from my side of the point.
So a penny and a quarter higher in corn. Moving over to soybeans, Todd Horwitz joining us here. Bubba Trading, BubbaTrading.com. Beans a bit lower now. They were higher to start the day, but they've moved lower. Now, what do you think about beans here?
I'm very concerned about soybeans. We were watching a key number of 985. And, of course, that violated late last week, and, of course, it immediately tanked. I'm afraid that 950 and 920 may come into play here. If we can get back above that 985 level, then I would be, I could be more constructive. But at these levels, I'm not touching them right here. I'm not going to sell them because I think that they're still awfully inexpensive at these levels. But I'm certainly not going to be a buyer here in case they do fall harder than I think they do. I think we got to watch those 985 levels, but they will also benefit if my theory is correct and that the outside money is going to come in. Then the beans will also benefit here. But for now, technically, they've got some big troubles trying to get through 985.
All right, it's a little bit lower now in the soybean trade. Real quick, looking at wheat before we take a break, talking to Todd Horwitz. Wheat starting the day higher after ending higher yesterday. Check Kansas City March up 1 3/4 pennies. Kansas City March up 2.5, and Minneapolis, the nearby March contract there, up about a penny as well, 6.20 1/4. Todd Horwitz live from Chicago. We're going to take a break, put him to work looking at the livestock trade. Does he like that? We'll find out after this. 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Time for your livestock update. Let's go back to Chicago and find out what Todd Horwitz thinks about the livestock trade. Friendly corn, a lot of question marks in soybeans, maybe friendly in wheat here as well. Now, live cattle futures trying to climb back. Your thoughts in the beef complex. We'll get to pork in a minute. Start out with live cattle, feeder cattle here, Todd.
I'm very friendly. The fats, I thought that 118 was a great level to get to. That was one of our targets. And, of course, anytime we're pulling back, I'm looking to buy buy now. I think we're going higher. I think that the lows are in. I think we have a chance to test in time the highs. So I'm definitely looking to be a buyer. 118. I think if you take a look at the way they kind of fell apart at the end of last week or before, it was a great step to step in. And of course, we are a little bit higher. The feeders, I'm just waiting for them to try to hold and find some support. You know, we called for 148 when they were 160. So now we got down about the 144.90 or so. I think that was about the low. Now I want to look for a spot to buy them. I just need to show me, you know, I'm from the show me set. They got to show me they can hold these levels, but I'm definitely bullish. I'm not bearish at all. I think that both go higher. I think we're going to see a much better market coming into the new year, and I definitely look to be a buyer. And feeders probably 146, 147. I just need them to start to settle down and look like they want to try to go back up, and then I'd step right in and buy them.
Now, you're talking January, by the way, in the feeder cattle, just so our viewers and listeners are following you.
Yes, I'm talking January in the feeders, and I'm talking February in the fats.
Well, let's go back to February live cattle then. So we were lower in the feeder cattle and mixed a bit lower in live cattle. February are unchanged right now, though, at 120.60. You'd like them to go to 121, 122?
I think they're going a lot higher than that. I think they're going much higher than that. I think they're going back up to 125 to 129 would be where I would be targeting. And I would be a buyer as long as we stay above 118. I'm stepping in. So really what I'm looking for is every sell-off of substance, as long as it maintains 118, I'm going to step in and buy it. And feeders, I'm just watching the action and looking for a spot to get in because I definitely want to buy to get in. I just have to find a spot that I think is a little bit safer, knowing that I might be wrong at the initial time and it might be a little bit of a pullback. So, but that's what I'm looking for, to be long both.
It's a long-term play, isn't it? All right, lean hogs, Todd, and the trade there starting higher, but they were first, I believe, to turn a bit lower here. What do you think about the pork complex going into 2018?
Well, I have now turned to a bull. I was very bearish and looked for 66, which we got, basis February. We actually get down to almost 63 and change. Now, what I need to see now is it to settle. Now, you know, yesterday we traded up almost as high as 70.
You're right.
And then turned around. And that was, in fact, I texted that out that they were a stone sell at 70. So now that we're down here back around the 66 level, as soon as I can see some positive action, all I mean by positive is they kind of stop going down and they more settle, again, more like feeders. I'm looking for them to kind of flatten out. I'll step in and be a buyer here around 66 because I now think that the entire beef complex will start to move higher, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking pretty bullish all the way across the board.
Well, there you go. That's I know that you're talking because you walk the talk there and trade those, as you say. So, and obviously looking a lot more positive longer term in this hog market. So, hey, appreciate your time, Todd. If we don't talk again, Merry Christmas to you and the Horwitz family.
And to the Apple family, Merry Christmas. Mark, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Todd Horwitz, live from Chicago. So we'll be watching that. He's friendly longer term here. It's a long-term process here, kind of like a football game or something. You don't get it all done in the first quarter. So
no,
he's
sure
looking
don't.
long term.
Sometimes a lot of things can happen in the fourth quarter as well.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Markets editor Mark Oppold.